Hello and welcome back to Small Room Audio. It is very, very hot. I am a sweaty, horrible mess, but don't worry, it's all been worth it because we've been reviewing the Schiit Freya Plus Preamp with lots of these 6 SN7 tubes. Now, today's review is going to be split into two sections. The first one is a traditional review and we'll try and keep that quite snappy and short. Spoiler alert, it's very good. And then in the second half of the review, we'll be looking at all the different tube combinations that I went through to try and get the best out of this preamplifier. And hopefully you can use that and see what you think. Right, first up, the Schiit Freya Preamp. This is the Plus version. What's the difference? Well, I never heard the original Freya, but from what I've read, it's better in the regards it's less distortion. It's got the ability to turn the tubes on and off so you don't have to burn them the whole time. And perhaps there's a little less bloom, which could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on what you like. Now, why do I like it? Because I really do like it. It's because it's a preamp that's relatively affordable, under £1,000, and it's incredibly versatile and it sounds good. There are three main modes. The passive mode is very clean, it's very clear, it's quick, and it's very good, particularly if you want to make perhaps a darker speaker just that little bit better with clarity and speed. You've also got then the JFET buffer mode, which adds a bit of richness, but only a touch. But again, that is really nice to have if you want to pep up your speaker in that way. And then finally, the tube mode. So yeah, I love it. I do love tubes, and you can change things up in a lot of different ways. It adds a warmth, it adds a 3D soundstage, which is very holographic, and it's not too bloomy, not too thick. It's quite, I say flexible. I think it was the word with this preamplifier. It just gives you lots of options. Again, definitely sings to me because I like to tweak and play around with lots of different speakers and lots of different variants of sound. What do I not like? Well, I suppose one of the main things is the volume control. It clicks, that's all right, but you don't really know how loud it is. So you just each time have to kind of guess how loud it is. I also find that the bass, when you're putting in the different tubes, can be a little bit wobbly. And I think if you kept doing it over and over again and changing a lot of tubes, it might be susceptible to breaking. So you might consider putting in tube savers if you want to do a lot of tube rolling. But all in all, I've got to say, it is an excellent piece of kit. It's something that I think will stay in my system and my review rig for a long time because I've just got so many different options with it, and I can swap tubes in and out, I can use the 3 different modes, and yeah, it's really good. Definitely recommend it. It seems very good value for money. Right, that's the first half of the review. Short and sweet, as promised. Let's now talk about tube rolling. So, what is tube rolling? Essentially, it's taking the tubes that you get in the Schiit Freya out and putting different tubes in. So first up, let's talk about the tubes you get as standard. In the UK, I was supplied with 4 JJ tubes. They are the 6 SN7 variants. And, you know, they sound all right. They're quite clean. The top end isn't glassy. It gives you that soundstage still. So if you didn't want to change them at all, that's fine, because actually you get a very solid sound from what they give you. What's wrong with the JJs? Well, I think they get microphonic quite quickly. I don't think they are perhaps built as solidly as some of the new old stock tubes that you can buy, or indeed some of the newer tubes that are constructed that you can get from China or other places as well. So yeah, stick with the JJs if you like. In my system, the 2 of them went microphonic, 1 of them died completely, and that was within the space of 3 months. I then replaced them with tongue soles. They're quite affordable and they sounded pretty good. Not a lot different really from the JFET setting, but just a little bit more holographic. But I wasn't satisfied there. I went to the Electro Harmonics. Yep, I've got one of those. Let me grab them now, just in my magic corner around here. I have 2 types of Electro Harmonics tubes. We've got the silver bass and the gold bass. I started with a quad pairing of the Electro Harmonics 6SN7s with the silver bass, and that was a step up for me from the tongue soles and also from the JJs. It just was a better soundstage. It was much, well, I'll say much, I mean it was about, you know, half a foot wider. That was really good. I like a nice wide soundstage, and it did sound like you've got quite a refined and powerful punchy bass from this as well. It is quite a dynamic tube. The top end, however, isn't that smooth or that refined. So then I thought, well, this is a more expensive version of the Electro Harmonics. It's the gold pin. Let's give that a go in quad formation. That wasn't so successful, so a quad formation of the gold pin was quite treacly. The bass was big and fat, and I suppose it sounds a bit more like a traditional tube preamp in the sense that it's very bloomy and fat, and you might like that, but for my taste it was just too much and it was too dark, so I didn't get that sense of resolution, although the top end was pretty nice and smooth and very enjoyable. The good thing about these two is you can mix and match. So going from the quad pairings, you can say, well, I'm going to have 2 of the silver in the gain stage and 2 of the gold in the buffer stage. Best of both worlds. I get punchy, I get clear, I get a nice sound stage, and yet I get a little bit of the smoothness from this. I find in the gain stage you get the most character from the tube, whereas in the buffer stage you get a bit of a hint. So think of it as a seasoning, if you like. And then we can go to the more expensive tubes. So this is a Kossor 6SN7. It's a globe tube from China. These retail about £100 for 2, so you're definitely going up the value chain. The Electro Harmonics are more like 25 quid for 2, so they're a lot more affordable. This gives you the widest sound stage of all the 6SN7s that I've tried. It kind of sounds like it looks, so it does give you that kind of very big, wide feeling, but it's not so refined on the top end. So again, we've got to try and find a good pairing to go with it, so we get the best of both worlds. I tried it with the gold pinned Electro Harmonics. Nah, didn't really go there. So instead, I put this one in the buffer stage, and in the gain stage, I put a very special 6SN7. Have a look at this. This is the RCA. It's a Joint Army and Navy variant of a 6SN7 used during the, well, it wasn't used during the Second World War. It was used in the 50s, I think, but to power military equipment, hence the Joint Army and Navy tag. So it's built to quite a high, well, incredibly high standard. So you can knock it around, smash it, don't do that, I don't advise it, but you could because it's built very, very well. And it's also probably, in my view, the best sounding 6SN7 that I have ever heard, and is superb. It brings in a level of nuance and detail and feel to music that no other 6SN7 that I have demoed can. Put the Kossor in the buffer and put the 5692 from RCA in the gain. Oh, Nirvana is there. The music is lovely because it's wide, it's big, it's punchy, it's dynamic, it's beautiful, it's nuanced, it's refined, and wow, that is good. However, there's a downside. £100 for a pair of those and £150 or more for a pair of the RCA 5692. So you're adding on quite a bit of cost to what was, until that point, a very affordable preamp. If you'd like this video and you'd like to see some more, perhaps with some bigger tubes, then please do like and subscribe, and we'll see you back here very soon.